Today I'm here to review for you Haunted Love. This is a collection of pre-code comic book stories from the 1950s. And if you don't know what pre-code means, basically, for a long time, the comic book industry was about a lot more than superheroes. There were Western comics and crime comics and horror comics, all kinds of different genres. But they came under fire for their content and whether they were suitable for children. So they established the Comics Code Authority, which put very strict restrictions on what you could show. And that's part of why superheroes became so popular, because they were sanitized enough to fit into the Comics Code Authority. Now, the Comics Code Authority was disbanded quite a while ago. It's no longer really a concern, but it's an interesting point in history, and these comics certainly illustrate well why some parents might have had some legitimate concerns about their children consuming it. But it was a really fun read overall. There's something about the chunky lines and the sort of crude coloring that they could achieve back then with the processes they had that is just very charming. And one of the things I really like about these tales is they are great little lessons in compact storytelling. There's quite a few different stories in this. I think each one averages maybe 5 or 6 pages. So they really have to come in, tell the story, and get out. And sometimes, that kind of results in some clunky exposition or dialogue or whatever. It's kind of to be expected, but it's still a lot of fun just to see people kind of letting loose with their imaginations, because these comics were produced very quickly. And a lot of the stories are kind of, echoes of other stories, popular horror stories, that kind of thing. But they always try to put a twist on it. Well, usually they try to put some kind of twist on it, bring something different to it, which sometimes could result in things that were kind of strange or wacky, and it's a lot of fun to read. Less fun, however, is the rampant misogyny in these comics. Like, I knew going in that would be a component of it. I know enough about comics history and kind of where this was coming from to expect it to a certain degree. But interestingly enough, I don't know if there's one woman in this book who is not cruel and calculating and kind of loose with her morals. And often they are also the victim, not exclusively, but oftentimes they are a victim and are kind of punished for what they've tried to do, which is, usually to get rich or get ahead or something. So yeah, that was less fun, especially right now. It's kind of like, ooh, okay, 1950s, let's not go back there. Although, anyway, but overall, it was a really enjoyable read. I picked up a couple of these volumes that they put out. They put out quite a few of these collections of pre-code horror, and I kind of wish I would have gotten more of them, because they are really, really nicely presented. Not only is it a nice hardcover, it's really thick paper, and you've got, these really interesting kind of graphic pullouts from the comic books themselves. This piece of paper was here, I think, as a protective thing, and I've just kept it there the entire time I've had it. But yeah, kind of knowing what you're going to get going into it, if you're interested in this sort of thing, I would say these collections are actually a lot of fun and just an interesting peek into a very unique period in comic books in the United States.